1971, a young business couple who were eager to serve the Lord, Bill and Bonnet Bride, were led by God to forsake their business, wealth, and personal ambitions to begin an evangelist and discipleship ministry at the campus of the University of California, Los Angeles.
When the Lord impressed us through a series of circumstances that we should surrender everything to the Lord Jesus. So we wrote out and signed a contract. I never heard of this being done, but I'm a businessman by training, so I figured that's the best way to register our commitment. So we signed that contract that afternoon in 1951.
In 1965, Bill wrote a book, Have You Heard of the Four Spiritual Laws?, in which he presented the four spiritual laws. By the end of the 60s, the ministry, Campus Crusade for Christ, had spread to 25 countries. In the late 70s, a member of staff who was the then National Director of Campus Crusade for Christ USA challenged many American staff to go and help start ministries overseas. But it was only towards the end of 1971 that a young couple, Sam and Lynn Owen, moved to Uganda to fully establish the Ugandan arm of Campus Crusade for Christ.
I flew into Nairobi and a couple of days later got on an East African Airlines flight, which is also defunct now, and came to Entebbe. Met by a missionary couple by the name of Hurlbert, Wynn and Kathy, who had wanted very much to begin the work with Campus Crusade at Makerere, but because they were with another organization, somehow crew had a policy that it needed to be someone that was fully engaged on their staff. So that's how I got, and a month later I went back to Nairobi and I met Lynn and we came back together, and together we would begin to work here.
By this time, the ministry had already carried out a few trainings and had a couple of disciples.
I lived with Peggy. We first lived on campus, and then after that we lived across the street from the main entrance to Makerere University in Bat Valley Flats. So we'll do training. She would train me in the morning, and then in the afternoon, later in the day or different days of the week, I would come and practice on the team. Like I'd give a message to the team, our team. And then in the afternoon, we'd be going on campus to put in practice what we learned. So you learned things in the morning, in the evening you went and put them in practice on the campus. So that was our training ground. And the training would last 2 years.
Somehow when it comes to the Christian Union, I was a very active member of the Christian Union. And then he's introduced to us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Sam Owen, and he works with an organization called Campus Crusade for Christ. And if you are interested, you can talk to him. And he made an appointment. We met, and you know what he said, Lazarus, would you like to come and work with us in Campus Crusade for Christ? I didn't need much convincing.
Believers and staff from Uganda went to attend Explo 72, a mammoth conference that was held in the US and attracted between 80,000 and 100,000 people.
It was huge. I don't know whether I remember all the details, and it seems so far away now. But it mobilized a lot of young people, a lot of believers. We went into places, we witnessed, but there was a lot of training in evangelism and discipleship. So it kind of launched us off also into what we'd be doing.
After Explo 72, the ministry in Uganda took roots. People were responding to the simple presentation of the gospel, and many were getting saved.
In 74, when I was in Gulu with Ben Ogwal rather than Bishop Loum, Then I was invited by the bishop to go with him to Brackenhurst in Kenya, in Limuru, to translate the 4 laws in Luo. So the 4 laws in Luo, I was the first person who interpreted it. We had about 2 weeks, we worked on it, I interpreted it in Luo, it was printed, it was used. So 1974.
So we were helping do a number of conferences with bishops and clergy people in the church. The work was growing at McCary. Dora and Lazarus were with us. We had some small groups that were beginning. We were still kind of sitting in on the Christian Union meetings, doing all we could to encourage.
Lazarus Seriange had translated the 4 spiritual laws into Uganda. Sam Owen was doing public relations work with the Church of Uganda leadership. This was later to pay off in 1973 when Idi Amin became hostile to evangelical Christian churches and organizations. He banned many, including Campus Crusade for Christ at the time.
On a Saturday morning, I heard on the BBC, of all things, that 9 groups, I think it was 9 groups, had been proscribed by the Ugandan government to be struck off, to be kicked out. Among them were the Quakers, Child Evangelism Fellowship, the Navigators. Navigators sound like military people, right? Campus Crusade. Ooh.
Amin is a Muslim, okay? And the Muslims, from their historical recollection, crusades were a bad thing. So the use of crusade, the word crusade was negative, had a stigma about it. So when Campus Crusade was banned in Uganda, we needed to stop using the name Campus Crusade. We had to look for a name which would be safe to use. And back in America, they had a movement, what they called Lay Institute for Evangelism, which shortened as Life Training. It was Lay Institute for Evangelism. And it was easy to use and to talk about in Uganda.
Sam Owen therefore decided to change the name to Life Ministry, and it was to later be used by most ministries in Southern and Eastern Africa.
I went through a difficult time of having to ban material or tear off pages which bore the name Crusade, Campus Crusade for Christ.
The Archbishop then, Eric Sabiti, was not happy to lose Christian organizations, and he wisely decided to offer umbrella protection for all banned Christian organizations under the Church of Uganda.
We went under the leadership of the church, but they shifted the training to Nairobi so that we could be more free to do what we needed to do.
I was put under Kampala Diocese, and I was given an office there at All Saints. And I had an office there, which continued to be an office until, the person who took over from me was Sam Kimbowa.
The State House was just next door, and that is where they used to kill people. So it was tough, and we would hear people screaming. And many times we ate lunch with those State House people.
In 1979, Life Ministry no longer needed the protection of the Church of Uganda, and it resumed to operate in the country freely. More staff were recruited. More strategies got introduced. Around this same time, the Jesus film was premiered worldwide. It would only be first shown in Uganda in the early 80s.
What do you want me to do for you?
I want to see again.
Another milestone was yet to be planted in 1985 when Campus Crusade for Christ hosted Explo 1985. Thousands attended.
We invited many people, including university staff, both academic and others, people from the organizations, from government departments, and even from the secondary schools and so on. It was very, very big. And many people gave their lives to Jesus Christ.
In the meantime, the Jesus film was fast becoming the main tool of evangelism for life ministry and the church. It was during this time when video technology was very scarce and a single showing attracted multitudes. In 1992, translation of the Jesus film began.
In 1987, I was given a two-man team to lead to go to Mukono Diocese to show the Jesus film. And we started our shows from Lake Choga at Bale, Galilaya. And we swept that region up to Lake Victoria. And we used to either use the bicycle, and so it was on foot, bicycle, sometimes the tractors.
They gave me the Chinyarwanda set. So I used to go to camps. At times I would cross the borders, go to Rwanda with my set. And I really loved it. I love adventure, I love traveling. So that was one of the things. And the most important thing that really would motivate me was seeing the many people who would come to Jesus after the Jesus film show. And of course, those people that would have trained would help in following them up. So I traversed the whole of Western region, the whole of Western Uganda.
I remember one particular campaign we did in a place called Ochoko as you enter Arua, about maybe 4 miles as you enter Arua. We had a show starting at 7, finishing at 9, or thereabout. And when we finished our show, people shouted, said, "We have just come. Can you do it again?" We finished at midnight, second show. And we reckoned there were over 10,000 people. And when we made the altar call, I don't even know how many came to Jesus Christ.
In 1998 is when the expansion program is born. And how is it born? Here we are, we say we want now to expand to the entire country, but we want to begin with the north. We have been in the west, southwest, we've been in the east, we've been in south central here, Uganda sub-region, but in the north, Konyi has held the whole sub-region hostage, and it's difficult for you to do anything. So under the leadership of Dr. Peter Asimwe, we do a mission codenamed Operation Caleb. I want you to know that that mission was very enjoyable, but it was a risky mission. Whoever went on that mission got to learn that for me to live is Christ, to die is gain. That was the mission where you couldn't keep sin, because anytime you can die. I remember in Pabo Camp we are showing the film, And at the point where Jesus is casting out demons, where the demoniac is, and demons are getting out of people even before you pray. So it was powerful. And then, of course, we lived in fear, but at the same time, we enjoyed every single day we had that we were making a difference. And hear what people said. For the first time, the church has come from the south to come and spend time and do life with us, living where we live, eating what we eat. This is great love.
Jesus feeling. I feel, even as I'm seated here, I'm very confident that what we went through, it is standing up to now. When we are not there, people are getting saved. Through Jesus feeling, being shown everywhere, all stuff using everywhere, the languages. People are hearing Jesus Christ talking to them through TVs, through stuff, through where. But you look back, what you went through to bring it to where it is. I give glory back to God.
Many of those who have toiled and offered service to the ministry have done so only by grace and perseverance. The challenges are only eclipsed by the joy of overcoming them. With the firm foundation on which it was built, the ministry has continued to impact many lives of believers through its win, build, and send principle. Right from the university, if we manage to change the student, we change the future. Over the years, thousands of evangelists and all kinds of laborers have received training and have been empowered.
John Bonjo is here. I have evidence that I can take you. If I take you to my base in Bombo, build schools, Bible schools, and even academic schools, but I can give credit to Life Ministry that it really impacted my substance in terms of training.
And to see somebody from a youthful stage becoming a prominent person is a plus in your thinking that there are seeds which never go wrong. So when I look at Bishop Obetia, when I look at Joyce Kule, I feel very, very encouraged that life ministry can nurture people. And if you're willing to stick it, it is possible. It is possible.
But for the next 50 years, a much more dynamic approach is required. The world is growing and changing fast. And the church needs a firmer identity.
I see ministry changed in many ways because we are sitting at a time where Corona has actually redefined the way we do ministry. It has redefined the global doing of things. We are seeing the growth of information and communication technology influencing the way we do life. And so for the next 50 years, I see the growth of a young and emerging leadership in this organization. I see young people joining the ministry to shape the way we'll do ministry tomorrow. It will be more with the Internet of Things. We will have more things digitized than ever before. So I see the young people getting involved. But I'll see the older people get in to nurture, to mentor, to give a sense of direction and stability to the young people.
As somebody said, there's no succession. There's no success without a successor that you have trained, that you have equipped, that you have poured into. So I think if we went that direction as an organization, and I believe we are at this time, if we went that direction of intentionally rising leaders, I think we shall go a long way.
And so when I look at this group, I say hallelujah. And so Lynn and I would talk and oftentimes say if we would not have had the training we had as young staff, we probably couldn't have been as effective as maybe we have been. I'm not sure we've been that effective, but as maybe we have been in these years that have followed.
The journey has been long, and yet the journey ahead is longer and tougher. But the ministry is now committed, more than ever, to build on the foundation of 50 years of faith.